about Taylor Wood's last fight.
You and I, we called it together, Alex.
Yeah. That was a scary man.
Taylor Wood's training partners are Josh Rivera, Rob Mooney, Joe Smith, Austin Green, and of course he is being cornered by Josh Johnson. Austin Green walked him out there, and it looks like we got Johnson in the corner. For those of you who do not know who Josh Johnson of E-Town Beatdown is, Alex?
Josh is the second ever, I believe second, maybe third black belt in the state of Kentucky. I know the top three are my head coach's head coach, Mike O'Donnell, the first ever black belt in the state of Kentucky. Josh Johnson is either 2 or 3. He got his right after, about a week or two after, I believe. So legendary, coached some of the best fighters ever in Kentucky in the early 2000s.
And of course that would be a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Absolutely.
Making his way out from the back now. Don't see him yet, but is Trey Harbin.
This is a fight that I'm really excited for. Two extremely well-rounded and solid fighters. Trey Harbin coming out of Bronx Hill. They've had success in the UFC level with Dontel, as we see, coming out behind Trey Harbin. Dontel's represented HRMMA on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series.
I believe Dontel and Lance Lawrence will both be on the show again Tuesday, July 16th.
I was not aware
Same card.
I was not aware that Dontel would be there as well. I don't know how many more times Dontel needs to prove himself that he's worthy of that UFC contract.
Harbin started training in 2012. Brent Maddox is his coach. He's known Brent Maddox since he was an assistant coach on his high school wrestling team. He says he does most of his training camp with Dontel Mays, Michael Ricketts, and Montez Jordan. Instagram is I am Trizzy Ray 501. That is IAMTRIZZYRE 501. Twitter is Trizzy_H. Trey Harbin entering the cage. This is a heck of a matchup, Alex.
It's been a while since Trey has fought. He looks super in shape, super slim. Taylor as well. This is going to be such a good fight. So these Bronx Hill guys, all good. It's an understatement to call it, or it's underselling it to call it sprawl and brawl. But these guys have such good boxing, and they're so hard to take down. I think that's a staple of the Bronx Hill game. Whereas these E-Town Beatdown guys, they're going to take you down, submit you. But they're no stranger to striking on the feet either. This is two great fighters from two great gyms.
Once again, we have Trey Harbin out of the blue corner with the red trunks. Taylor Wood out of the red corner with the blue trunks.
Trey coming out southpaw. Wood doing a good job of closing the distance immediately. Wood working this over-under series. Coach Josh Johnson calling for Wood to re-pummel. So Harbin briefly won the spin battle and was able to get Woods back on the cage. They fight off. Harbin wins again.
Harbin connected with the big right there.
Yeah, Harbin doing a great job of breaking and throwing with that right hand. But Wood with a good inside right kick. Harbin working on something here on Taylor's head. Coach Josh Johnson calling for Taylor to protect his neck. Got to get those hands up. Start fighting Trey's hands. As soon as he does, Trey breaks. Now Taylor's leaning on Trey. making him carry all his weight. Now Wood breaks and throws a right hand, but immediately puts Trey back on the cage. Again, we have Wood leaning on Trey Harbin, making Trey carry all the weight. Wood right now just going to town, working, staying busy. Good knee there from both guys. So now Wood pummels in that right side underhook. Very important. Harbin kind of maybe forgot about it, and Wood just slipped it right in there.
Being up against the cage can be exhausting, Alex.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it looks like you're leaning on the cage, but there's so much that can go wrong for you there so quickly. You fall asleep for 1 second, and your butt's on the mat, and your back's on the cage, and then you're in the worst spot. And Wood just going to town here, side to side, keeping that right side underhook. And now Wood made a small mistake there. He circled off to his overhook side. Harbin broke again with clean punches, and then Wood returns the inside kick. And now Wood switching to southpaw. Subtle little difference. Try to show Trey a different look here. Good technical first round.
Alex, looked to me like Harbin controlled the majority of the round. Would you agree?
It was, I would say 50-50. Harbin had Taylor on the cage for a lot of it. Taylor had Harbin on the cage for a lot of it. It was very close. I don't envy the judges that have to score that round. Both guys controlled the cage. Both guys landed strikes. You giving that round to Harbin?
Close round. It did seem to me that if either of the fighters was controlling the round, I may give the edge slightly to Harbin for that first one. But I agree with you. Very difficult round to score.
I think Wood won that round, but man, it was so close. I think Wood controlled the cage more, but I think Harbin did land more strikes. A great first round. Wood's wearing cut-off gi pants as shorts.
That's a minute and a half. That's a minute and a half right now.
Josh Johnson on top of the amount of time that they're giving the amateur fighters between rounds, saying that it's going beyond 90
I think
seconds.
the ref is in charge of that. Coach Josh Johnson believes his guy is the fresher fighter. Good level change there from Wood. We're back to this over-under series on the cage. And man, this is where these E-Town beatdown guys thrive. Grinding you out, wearing you down on that cage. And now Wood went for that high crotch. Initially, it didn't work. He slipped his head to the outside.
Alex, they're on the ground. You would have to say the advantage by default goes to the guy who trains with Josh Johnson.
I would have to think so. No slight to it, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu of Bronx Hill. But, man, Harbin just beast.
There's that takedown defense, resiliency, and toughness you referenced earlier.
And Harbin immediately turning to take the bag. He's not playing any games. So the mistake that a lot of guys make when they're trying to wrestle their guys in the cage fighting is they just leave a little bit too much space. I think that's what Trey did there for a little bit. Did a great wrestling spin drill. The only mistake he made was he just didn't pressure Taylor quite enough, and Taylor just stood right up. Good short left from
Wow,
Taylor.
Taylor Wood showing some big power with those close punches.
He's a beast, man. Both of these guys are good. Inside knee from Taylor.
Again, he's resting. He's resting.
Josh Johnson doing a good job of pulling work out of Taylor Wood, letting him know he's resting right now. It can be tempting for, if you're Taylor Wood here, it can be tempting for you to rest as well. But we believe, Coach Josh Johnson believes that it behooves Taylor to keep working.
Alex, earlier you mentioned the Bronx Hill fighters have good toughness and takedown defense.
Yeah, so we've seen Taylor Wood string together 3-4 takedown attempts in a row, and Harbin's not going down. He's defending all the takedowns. The problem is that it costs so much energy to do that, and that inside kick landed heavy for Taylor Wood. Good 1-2 there from Harbin. Taylor Wood doing a great job of circling off, and right back to the game plan. Taylor Wood holding Trey on the cage, going to town. We'll see if Taylor Wood doesn't level change here soon, try to secure this takedown. Good high knee, forget the takedown.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. Exclamation mark. Yeah.
Wow.
What? Is that a horn? Is it in a round? All right, I think it's the end of the round.
Third man in the cage is George Conley. I think you got to give that second round to Wood. Josh Johnson checking his timer. Once again, he's very aware of how many seconds into the break.
He's such a cerebral coach, just a smart human being altogether. Notice Coach Josh Johnson knows all the small things.
What do you take from this, Alex? It sounds like Josh Johnson in the Taylor Wood corner, they want to push the pace. They don't want to give Trey Harbin any extra rest.
Yes, Coach Josh Johnson was telling Taylor in the Wood there, yeah, literally verbatim, yeah, he's tired. They're shaking their head. Yeah, we agree. We are both in agreement. He's tired. Trey does appear to be the more worn-down fighter. He spent so much of this fight with his back on the cage, carrying all of Taylor Wood's weight.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. It's your game anyway. Hands up. Don't get caught with anything stupid. Yes. He just wants that left hand. He just wants the left hand.
Taylor staying to the game plan, sticking that inside leg kick.
That's where you take it.
Maybe getting a little too close on his own range with those leg kicks immediately just with the clinch.
I don't think Taylor Wood is shying away from the fact that he does want to take this to the ground. However, absent of being able to take it to the ground, he's putting the pressure on for the takedown while sneaking in some punch, some great knees, and an occasional big punch.
Yeah, so look what Taylor Wood's doing right now. He's going inside, inside, inside. He'll fake the inside, come high, drop it down low on that outside knee. Man, that hurts so bad.
There you go. Head position.
Taylor Wood just stands so disciplined right here. He did, unfortunately, give up those underhooks there, but we'll see if he doesn't repummel right away. So now Trey making Taylor hold his weight.
You got underhook. And rip out. There you go. 3 out.
Good knee to the body there from Taylor Wood, staying active.
Now
For the sake of commentary, Alex, we were fortunate to be sitting next to Josh Johnson.
Man, I was going to say the same
Were you?
exact thing. I was just trying to find my moment to say it. We're so lucky. Every time we get to see, or just get to sit next to Josh Johnson and listen to all
But what
the
Josh had
things
said was that Harbin is getting tired, so now he's trying to take you down. So he's saying that out of desperation, he thinks, Harbin has adjusted his game plan, not because he feels he has an advantage necessarily on the ground, but because he's exhausted. He wants to take the fight to the ground.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I don't know all of the opponents that Trey's fought, but I don't think he's ever fought one of these E-Town beatdown guys. I don't know if he's ever been in one of these guys' cards. I am unfortunate enough to have been in an E-Town beatdown fighters card, and it didn't end well for me, and it typically doesn't.
About 30 seconds left. We'll see if Taylor Wood, who's got his back to the cage, can do anything.
Good stand up there for Taylor Wood. He's got that left hand inside for a standing switch almost. Nice. Little back trip there for Taylor Wood. Short time here. Josh Johnson's going to call for Taylor Wood to just start going crazy. Great fight. Great technical fight from both these guys. I'm going to say Taylor Wood wins that decision. Coach Josh Johnson saying 2-1.
Yeah, sounds like Josh Johnson's analysis was consistent, Alex, with what ours is. You said the first round you thought maybe slightly went to Taylor Wood. I said slightly I would give the edge for that first round to Harbin.
Yeah,
not a lot of question about the second and third rounds.
No. The one question mark is that Trey did secure a takedown in the third round, so he could have an argument for that, but Taylor Wood stood up and got the takedown right back. So 1-1 takedown in the third round, and Taylor dominated the cage. Great fight from both these guys. And man, Taylor Wood sticking to that game plan, grinding Trey down on that cage.
It's good to see Taylor Wood against a very legitimate opponent, very experienced mixed martial artist in Trey Harbin.
Yeah, I think this is only Taylor's fourth fight, if I'm correct. I think he's 3-0 coming into this. So many guys just want to boost up their amateur record to look good for Instagram and Facebook. The real guys that are going to be good professionals aren't out there doing that. They're trying to find the best guys to fight, and that's what we see Taylor Wood and Trey Harbin doing here.
Oh, wow. Taylor Wood moves to 3-0. We got Josh Johnson joining us. No, he doesn't want to make it about him.
Josh Johnson telling us that Taylor fought this fight with a shoulder and hand injury. Said he sustained an injury at work, fell off of a ladder.
Nonetheless, he is now 3-0, and he's